working to connect a region of over 600 cultural bridges between our lands.
Hello, Mga Angeles. We're moving to the next stage of the pandemic, and as the world resets to the new normal, we find ourselves seeking the right balance between health and livelihood, constantly adjusting the boundaries between liberty and responsibility. Welcome to ASEAN in Focus. Okay, first off in our program, we would like to welcome, we are very honored to have on our show, we would like to welcome to our program Consul General Bernie Candolada from the Philippine Consulate in Singapore. Good afternoon from Manila. Conjen.
Magandang hapon din po sa inyong lahat at sa lahat ng nanonood nakikinig sa inyong programa ngayong hapon.
First off, sir, we would like to ask how you are in Singapore and our services there po. Kumusta na po kayo?
We're okay. We have already resumed gradually yung ating consular services, although strictly by appointment in keeping with the guidelines at saka yung regulations ng Singapore government. So, marami-rami na rin nag-report at saka nag-avail ng ating consular services starting itong first week of June. So, on an appointment basis, marami rin nag-avail at this time. So lahat ng policies ng Singapore government when it comes to work, ina-apply natin yun in terms of safe access to offices, safe work, safe behavior, lahat yun ina-apply natin. So okay naman so far. Maganda naman, smooth naman, and our people understand na kailangan natin itong mga palisiya for their own safety, you know, as part of the measures na ini-implement ng Singapore government to ensure that everybody is safe in Singapore.
When it comes to, there are 517 new coronavirus cases, including 15 community cases. Kumusta naman po ang infection and recovery rate there in Singapore po?
If you look at the numbers, akala natin masyadong malaki. Actually, nagtitaper off na yung mga cases, new cases every day. Remember, in Singapore, sa month ng May lang, wala na ganong imported cases. Only isa lang na report na imported cases, which means isa lang nakapasok from abroad na may daladalang COVID-19 na disease. Second, 99%. Starting May, or even last week of April, hanggang ngayon, 99% ng mga new infection cases are actually isolated yan sa mga foreign workers dormitories. So, any of these dormitories are already isolated areas, and all government support nakafocus sa kanila. So, sinisegregate, may massive na testing, sinisegregate yung infected at saka hindi infected. So doon nakafocus. Ang community cases naman, masyadong maliit. In fact, 4 or 5, less than 2 digits na per day. So there is still concern for community cases, but it has dramatically gone down, compared mo last month at saka starting this June, o last month lalo na. So basically, masyadong mababa na yung infection rate sa community. Nakafocus na lang sa ang government ngayon ng Singapore on how to address yung infection sa foreign workers dormitories. And remember, they have more than 40 plus na workers na dormitories. Crowded ito na they are planning now on how to address the problem para at least mag-contain or if not totally stamp out yung infection. So, we are not worried about the numbers. These are numbers na lumalabas by the hundreds because there is massive testing. Singapore, on a daily basis, nagko-conduct ng testing by the hundreds. So kahit na kahit na hindi gaanong malala yung case na yan, sinesegregate na yung mga positive at saka hindi. So, kung titignan mo yan, on the other, the flip side of it is that yung daily discharge. Na yung daily discharge nila ngayon for the past 2 or 3 weeks by the hundreds din. So, kung titignan mo, konti na lang yung total ngayon. Almost 40,000 yung overall total. Pero actually, may iwan dyan na halimbawa sa ICU has already gone down up to 5 cases na lang. Yung nasa hospital ngayon ay konti na lang. By the hundreds na about 300 plus na lang. So the rest are isolation areas on their way out of hospitals or isolation facilities. So that's the overview ng Singapore COVID-19 situation right now.
Ano po masasabi yung best practices ng Singapore na pwede po natin i-apply dito or in other countries para masupil po natin itong coronavirus? Mas stop yung spread ng coronavirus po.
Ang tingin ko kasi, based kasi sa Singapore experience, they learn so much yung past na experience nila sa SARS at saka sa H1N1. Singapore is better prepared compared to other countries in the region natin. So marami na sila experience. So ang nagsastand out dyan would be yung contact tracing. Because they have already prepared their health facilities in such a situation. Kung meron mang emerging or infectious diseases as ito nga nangyari, yung hospitals nila are prepared na po. And then they have advanced in their technology, yung kanilang research, capable yun of handling research at saka investigation purposes. So, marami. Tapos, syempre, meron silang pera din na they can spend to address negative impact ng crisis na to, yung public health crisis dito, at saka yung ekonomiya. So, many of us in the region, medyo flat-footed. Lalo na tayo sa Pilipinas, hindi ganong naka-experience sa ganitong scale ng public health crisis. Medyo tayo apektuhan ng gusto. But Singapore, based on experience, they were able to prepare themselves to be able to address this kind of problem.
Kumusta naman po ang ating Filipino community there in Singapore po? Paki-update nyo naman po kami.
Okay. Generally, we're okay. Coping with the post-circuit breaker period, kasi starting June 2, gradually nag-open na yung Singapore sa economic activities. So almost 75% of essential economic activities have been restored starting June 2. Gradually, also yung schools are opening, lalo na sa preschool. Although the measures are still in place. Bawal pa rin lumabas ng bahay na hindi naka-face mask. Bawal pa rin social or any type of gathering or social gathering. So, kailangan maintain pa rin yung health standards natin like washing of hands, etc. So, very strict yung Singapore there. Even to the point na talagang pinipinalize nila yung violators. Well, sa cases naman ng mga Pinoy na infected ng COVID-19, we are just concerned because although yung ibang nationals medyo bumababa na, meron pa rin tayong pakunti-kunti everyday na naapektuhan, because we found out that some of them actually nakatira sa ibang dormitories na infected. So doon, they're not construction workers, may ilan na naapektuhan dahil either they're living in the dormitories or meron sila mga friends na may contact with these foreign workers living in the dormitory. So we're trying to verify, to be more exact, we're trying to verify with the Ministry of Manpower ano yung explanation nila sa phenomenon na to, kasi we don't have all the details. So we want to be sure that we have a very specific data of how many Filipino workers are living in dormitories. Yung latest, especially for the month of May, na merong more or less ilan na naapektuhan at this time, hindi related sa community pero naapektuhan because of their association or yung pagstay nila sa mga lodging houses na which were declared noon na mga infected na facilities. So we are concerned about that. And we hope that the MOM, Ministry of Manpower, can provide us the data so we can be guided on how to address the problem at this time.
So if there are, kung meron pong apektado, tutulungan naman po ng gobyerno natin?
Yes, we're in touch with the families at saka yung mga patients themselves. So remember, we have not received any case ng Pinoy na pasyente, no? Patient natin sa hospital na COVID-19 patient na talagang we can consider serious. There is no report na nasa ICU. Many of these are talagang tumagal because of the clearance process ng Ministry of Health ng Singapore, no? But of the total number of 126 as of yesterday, total number ng infected cases natin na puro lahat ito Filipinos, kunti lang naman naiwan sa hospital o sa isolation facilities. We have only about 42. The rest have been full discharged na talaga. So sa 42 na yan, we have not received any word from the Ministry of Health na meron tayong isa o dalawang case sa ICU. Kasi sa ICU ngayon, 5 lang naman naiwan. No? So maybe some of them, kasi pagpasok mo or ma-confine ka sa hospital, they're advised the Ministry of Health to contact us. Some of them were able to contact us and to explain their situation. Okay naman sila. And then if there are some requests that have to be conveyed to the respective families sa Philippines, we can do so, we can help.
Kumusta naman po ang assistance, yung Dole ACAP assistance po para sa ating mga kababayan dyan na apektado po ng COVID-19?
Yes, as of the latest na update binigay sa atin ng ating labor office dito sa Singapore, more than 1,300 na po ang nakatanggap ng yung $100 na one-time cash assistance. So medyo malaki na and still, our labor office is open sa mga applicants pa rin for those who want to benefit. Kasi yung target naman dyan, yung displaced talaga na worker natin. So 1,300 medyo malaki na rin yung portion ng ating more than 200,000 Filipinos dito sa Singapore. No? Pangalawa, our polo and the embassy as whole is also providing food assistance yung nangangailangan talaga ng mga food, no? While waiting for their flights home, lalo na yung displaced talaga. We are prepared and we are also asking more help from Manila to be able to address yung request na tayo. Of course, the number one problem that we're encountering now would be yung availability of commercial flights going home. Kasi may problema na tayo dyan dahil sa policy natin sa Manila, yung limit sa arriving passengers per day in Manila that affects all airlines not flying yung Singapore to Manila na.
So, how are the Filipinos helping each other there in Singapore po?
Well, wala naman kaming hanggat na talagang desperate for help. We have, of course, address yung problem ng mga pregnant women natin. Kasi alam niyo po, dito sa Singapore, masyadong mahal yung, if you want to deliver your child, no? Dito sa Singapore, mahal yung hospitalization, yung cost of hospitalization or child delivery. So, many of them would prefer to return home para doon talaga mga anak. So, we're trying to address this problem kasi medyo marami ang nag-request niya. We had arranged about 4 special flights. You know? 2 of those special flights were arranged directly by their respective employers. So, yung dalawa, we were able to coordinate with PAL in commercial flight nila and gave priority to these people, to ating mga workers na who have special needs, pregnant women, elderly, at saka yung medyo may sakit. So yun ang ina-address natin at this time. Yung ang medyo na-consider natin na kailangan tutukan talaga ng ating embahada. Number 2 would be those nangangailangan ng kunting tulong sa food, kasi yung iba naman hindi makakauwi agad, kailangan nila na ang dagdag sa daily needs nila while waiting for their scheduled flights. Kasi over the past 2 or 3 weeks, maraming cancelled flights na hindi natuloy no?
Opo.
Twice flight, cancel yung flight, tapos i-reschedule na naman sila.
Opo.
Yun ang problema. So, we're trying to address the problem right now.
Businesses, economies around the world are already opening up po. How is Singapore, how is the economy recovering po?
Well, even the Singapore government admits na medyo mahirap ang situation economically ngayon. They admit that hindi talaga mapigilan. It will be a recession year for Singapore. In fact, talagang yun ang projection na nila. Yung economic managers nila, even yung monetary authority of Singapore, nagsasabi na this year talagang malaking impact. Ang kagandahan sa Singapore is that we have the resources to be able to address yung problems like support sa mga nawala ng trabaho. No? So lately, just last week,
Opo.
we were able again to release another form of support, financial support to more or less restart the economy. This is the fourth time that they have released additional budget, no?
Yes.
On top of the regular budget for the year. No? So meron silang release na about more than
23
or about
23.2 billion po ata, yes.
And the priority there is parang it's a support scheme for jobs. No? Ma-retain yung mga jobs ng mga tao sa Singapore. So yun ang tinututukan nila at this time. Ano? And also lately, just today, we got news also from publishing the daily newspaper in Singapore na meron silang plan to be able to set up career centers, about 20 of them all over Singapore, to be able to help those displaced to find another jobs. So they are creating all those mechanisms to be able to address unemployment, yung workers na affected. So there's a lot of ongoing schemes na pinatutupad ng Singapore to be able to address the problem. But definitely, overall situation is quite bleak. Alam nila yun, and it will take some time for us to be able to recover. So although starting June 2, we have gradually started to reopen the economy, hindi pa yan total na reopening of the economy. They are starting also with essential businesses, essential services, and probably when the situation calls for it, for another phase, which is second phase, again, they will reopen some activities like dining restaurants na retail, probably after yung phase 1 na to naging successful at saka wala gaano community cases. So it all depends on the situation. Although they have some more or less target date to be able to go to phase 2, these are removable targets. Depende sa outcome ng phase 1 implementation of the opening of the economy.
Thank you very much, sir, for updating us on the situation there in Singapore. Baka meron po kayong huling mensahe sa mga nanonood po ngayon sa inyo.
Yun lang, we're trying our best at this time to be able to address yung pangangailangan ng ating mga kababayan dito sa Singapore. And before first week of June, especially May and first week of June, we were able to address some problems related to repatriation, and we made arrangements, coordination with Philippine Airlines to be able to address yung nangangailangan na umuwi. But of course, we are still monitoring the situation right now kasi alam namin na gusto pa rin, may mga ilan pa rin ating kababayan affected by the situation right now na gusto pa rin umuwi sa atin. So kailangan natin i-address yun. So it's a challenge for us, but we are committed to be able to extend help no, paano magawa namin bahagi para at least ma-address natin yung problem na yan. Ngayon, yung iba naman na may experience na rin pangangailangan, lalo na food. You can always call us, email us, we are ready to extend help, especially those in need. Return home to the Philippines. Kasi maraming sa kababayan natin na affected, especially to aviation, tourism, food and beverage, hotel industry, services, doon talaga yung directly hit na yun, alam namin yan. And we are receiving a lot of requests for assistance. Keep in touch with us, and we're trying our best to be able to address yung lahat ng mga kailangan i-address at this time. So, on behalf of the Philippine Embassy, maraming salamat po sa inyo lahat sa inyong pakikinig. But of course, sa inyo rin pag-invite sa amin to be able to give this situation about Singapore, situation in Singapore, and the situation of our Filipino community in Singapore. Maraming salamat po.
Maraming salamat din po sa inyo. Consul General Bernie Candolada from the Philippine Embassy in Singapore. Maraming salamat po sa inyo on behalf of Eagle Broadcasting Corporation. Thank you po.
Salamat.
Okay, now hundreds of mourners joined in an emotional memorial service for George Floyd, the African-American man killed by police last week. Joining us live from the United States is Don Orozco. Hello, Don.
Hello, Alba, and again, you're right. It actually started today. Memorial services will be given to George Floyd, who was actually the reason why there are so many protests and looting, as I may say, that is happening all over the United States. The memorial service started today in Minneapolis, Minnesota, where he was actually killed by a cop who was arresting him. And then it will actually spill over from different sections of the country, and he will have his final resting place, will be flown to Houston on Tuesday for a funeral. He is a local resident of Houston. That's why he will be transported in Houston. On other related news, Alma, again, we are, most of us in the Philippines are sports fans. So just wanted to relate to you that the NBA is going to start with what they have is 30 teams, but it will be dwindled down to 22 teams. And they expect to start training in July. Unfortunately, Golden State Warriors, the local team here in our area, is no longer part of it because, you know, in the NBA right now, they are last simply because of the previous injuries last season. But the good side is that Sacramento Kings, which is another team that is based here in Northern California, will still be part of the NBA. Now, with the advent of this COVID-19 and so on and so forth, there is a continued application for unemployment benefit. Right now, this week, California actually got 1.9 million applications to apply for unemployment. And again, that is just to give our televiewers an idea. This is going to be 600 allowance a week for the next 4 months while you are unemployed. So that's how it is. While in case of COVID-19 pandemic, the U.S. remains to still be the hotspot with a death of more than 107,000. And then here in California, we have about 120,000 cases with about 4,374 deaths. And there's only 2.1 that has been tested. While in the Bay Area, with 6 different counties, our county, this is Santa Clara County, this is Silicon Valley, it remains to be one of the hotbed as well, as we have the most number of deaths at 144. But the good news is that it is now going down and it is looking better, and a lot of business has now started to reopen. So that's basically what's going on. I would not dwell anymore, Alma, on the looting and some other bad news, I would rather stay on the brighter
On the
side of the
positive
news.
news, okay.
So that's about it. So this is Don Orozco reporting live from Silicon Valley, and again, we live in interesting times.
Thank you, Don. A COVID-19 fund bill will rehabilitate the economy affected by the pandemic. And the Tourism Authority of Thailand is preparing local tourism stimulus. Joining us live from Bangkok is Gila Pablo. Hello, Gila.
Yes, hello, good afternoon, Alma, and good afternoon to all the viewers. So, the House of Representatives on Thursday kicked off a debate on a bill seeking to transfer about 88 billion baht from the fiscal 2020 budgets of each ministry to a central fund to fight the COVID-19 pandemic and rehabilitate the economy. Alma, the first reading was approved with 264 votes, while four members of the parliament rejected it, 185 abstained, and one failed to vote. Earlier, the opposition called on fellow members of the parliament to reject the bill, saying it contained no detail about how the money would be spent, and approving it would be tantamount to issuing a blank check to the prime minister. One member of the parliament, Dr. Wiwat, criticized the prime minister for revising regulations to increase the spending limit from the central fund and urged the House not to allow it to happen. According to him, the budget transfer will be capped at 16 billion baht under the old regulations. Among the opposition of the members of the parliament argued it was improper for the prime minister to raise the spending amount that he would himself manage, saying it could invite policy-oriented corruption. Another MP, Dr. Cholnan, said the prime minister revised the regulation to accommodate himself, pointing out the central fund would be managed by the prime minister. He said it was the fourth time that the government under General Prayut's leadership had sought budget transfers. Alma, during the debate, Move Forward Party MP Dr. Amarat said the courts of justice, independent agencies, Office of the Attorney General, and Parliament are institutions whose budget was not drawn to help fight COVID-19. House Speaker Chuan said Parliament could allocate the money to contribute to the fight, but the Office of the Council of State said the budget from the agency could not be transferred. Alma, after she insisted Parliament should have looked for some ways to transfer the money, Mr. Chuan warned members of the Parliament to keep the focus on the bill and not to take advantage of the opportunity to criticize other agencies. General Prayut defended the reallocation of budgets, saying the government was in need of money to implement programs to help cushion the economic blow. He said the central fund would be used for COVID-19 mitigation efforts or the money returned for reallocation. And on spending transparency and accountability, he said mechanism would be in place to monitor the spending and legal action taken if corruption arises. And meanwhile, domestic tourism stimulus measures, including proposals of gift vouchers and cash handouts, are expected to be concluded next week, says the Tourism Authority of Thailand, or TAT. The stimulus is likely to be disbursed from July to October. That's from Mr. Yudasak. He said after a meeting with the Finance Permanent Secretary, he also added that the budget to finance the domestic tourism stimulus package should help improve the tourism industry's outlook during the final quarter of the year. Apart from the money and gift vouchers to boost domestic tourism, the TAT has proposed the government offer free outings to 1.2 million frontliner or frontline healthcare workers, Alma, who have battled the coronavirus, including doctors, nurses, and village health volunteers. According to the local media reports, the TAT is seeking the Finance Ministry's approval to give 3,000 baht to 4 million people for domestic travel, aiming to help local tourism operations. Tourism remains a government priority, Alma, as it is a labor-intensive industry with a workforce of 4 million and has borne the brunt of the outbreak's impact. Before the virus struck, the TAT predicted to raise the receipts of 1 trillion baht this year, with 400 to 500 billion baht coming from local travelers. Mr. Prasong said the Finance Ministry will offer a cash subsidy to an additional 9 million people affected by the pandemic, and they will be the last group to receive cash relief. The royal decree also for a 1 trillion baht in public debt will fund the stipend for additional recipients. That's for Mr. Prasong. And he added that there would be additional, that the cash relief will vary between recipients. Like, for example, the disabled would be entitled to less than 5,000 baht monthly since they already receive monthly allowances from the government. The government's 5,000 baht monthly allowance during the 3 months to June is for temporary workers, contract employees, and self-employed workers who are not covered by the Social Security Fund's Section 33 and were affected by the outbreak and subsequent containment measures. Some 15 million recipients also have already received the allowance. Meanwhile, here's the official COVID-19 update in Thailand as of today. The country has recorded 1 new confirmed case, bringing the national total to 3,102, and no additional deaths were reported, leaving the accumulated total at 58 deaths. There are 3 additional discharged patients, bringing the total to 2,971, and there are still 73 patients remaining in the hospital. Alma?
All right. Thank you very much, Gila, for your updates. Stay safe, stay healthy.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Once again, this is Gila Pablo reporting live from Bangkok, Thailand. We live in interesting times.
Okay, let's go now to Phuket. Joining us live is Mary Grace Alvarez. Hello, Mary Grace.
Hello, Alma. Good afternoon, and good afternoon to all our viewers. And now, bringing you latest update in Phuket, Thailand.
Okay.
The Airport of Thailand management team at Phuket International Airport, or AOT Phuket, has warned against fake news circulating on social media, claiming that the airport will reopen today, June 5. The fake news post features an image simulating an official notice the AOT Phuket announced in a statement last June 3. AOT Phuket explained, Phuket International Airport would like to clarify that the said document is just an appointment to check the facilities of the maintenance department. The statement also said, the airport opening on the 5th of June is not true and had caused much confusion. Phuket Airport is now currently under a period of suspended operations in accordance with the CAAT notification regarding conditions and time limits for using the airport for takeoff and landing, which the CAAT announced by a formal notice to airmen. That extended the suspension period for Phuket Airport from 10 p.m. on May 29 to 11:59 p.m. on June 15 and until further notice. Alma, according to AOT Phuket, if an official announcement regarding the reopening of the airport is made, public relations will be provided, while the airport is closed to all regular flights. The airport can be opened for service. Phuket International Airport apologizes for the inconvenience this has caused. Meanwhile, Alma, the Phuket Communicable Disease Committee reported on June 3, 0 new cases of people infected with COVID-19. This marks the 9th consecutive day that no new infections have been reported, and means the total number of people in Phuket officially recognized as infected with the virus since the outbreak began still stands at 227. The report emphasized that all citizens maintain and comply with precautionary measures, encouraging people to take care by wearing a face mask, eating hot food, using personal eating utensils, and washing of hands frequently. People were also reminded to avoid going to places or events where a lot of people would be gathering and maintain a distance of 1 to 2 meters between each other in order to prevent any chances of a second wave of the virus outbreak. Back to you, Alma.
All right. Thank you very much, Mary Grace. Stay safe, stay healthy. Very good news. 9 consecutive days. No virus cases. Very good.
Thank you very much, Alma. Reporting live from Phuket, Thailand. This is Mary Grace Alvarez, and we live in interesting times.
ASEAN in Focus. We'll be right back.
This weekend, tara na't mamangha sa galing at talento ng mga Pinoy sa iba't ibang sulok ng mundo.
It's now or never.
Abangan sila at mapawaw dito lang sa pinakamalawak na talent competition on Philippine TV and online. Ito ang Tagisan ng Galing.
This program is presented by SMC Infrastructure, building a better world. Sandig sugar-free white coffee, puno ng white coffee taste without the sugar, kaya lower calories. Try mo na Sandig sugar-free white coffee. Sarap ng white coffee, now sugar-free. Vet-approved Nutrichos, the only premium dog food with active boost for optimum energy and prebiotics that help strengthen immunity. Just like Catherine Bernardo, gawing listo ganado ang fur babies niyo. Listo ganado sa Nutrichos. Magnolia Chicken Templados, delicious, ready to cook and freshly marinated daily. Pure Foods Luncheon Meat, pure sarap for every family. Star Chunky Cheese Corned Beef, ang cheesy ng corned beef mo. Walang duda, kids can tell na #1 ang Pure Foods Tender Juicy. Ang tender, ang juicy, ang sarap. Co-presented by Cooper, expert in air conditioning and electromechanical. Also engaged in structural, electrical, fire protection, plumbing, and sanitary services. Cooper, your ultimate MEPS and air conditioning solutions. Unlad Incorporated International, fight against global poverty. New San Jose Builders Incorporated. Canrib Corporation, your ventilation and air conditioning specialist. Vita Herbs Philippines Green Coffee. Masarap, mabango, at healthy pa. Puerto Rico Resort and Convention Center, Cabiao, Nueva Ecija. I love Puerto Rico. In participation with Rain or Shine Elastomeric Waterproofing Paint. Matinco. R Square Variables Incorporated. CompuZell Computer Services. Saisho International Trading Corporation. DN Steel. EMAC UPB Roof Corporation.
Hey, Gretchen Ho here, and I'm a white coffee lover. Creamy kasi, and very yummy. Pero mas masarap kung hindi nakaka-guilty. Check my new discovery, Sandmade Sugar-Free White Coffee. Puno ng white coffee taste without the sugar, kaya lower calories. Try mo na! Sandmade Sugar-Free White Coffee. Sarap ng white coffee, now sugar-free.
Skyway Stages 1 and 2, the elevated toll road system project, run from a section of the South Luzon Expressway from Alabang to Magallanes, Makati. The Skyway Stage 3 is an elevated expressway connecting the South Luzon Expressway through the existing Skyway Stages 1 and 2 to the North Luzon Expressway via Balintawak. Skyway Stage 4 is an 80-kilometer mixed elevated and at-grade toll road that will connect the existing Skyway system, starting from the FTI section all the way to Bulacan.
Listo at ganado ang baby ko sa vet-approved Nutrichunks with active boost and prebiotics na pampalisto. Made with real meat, with essential nutrients to help them grow healthy and happy. Listo, ganado sa Nutrichunks.
Ikaw lang ang star ng buhay ko. Para sa akin, perfect ka. Ibang klase ang sarap ng corned beef mo. Ang cheesy ng corned beef mo. Pag Star Chunky Cheese Corned Beef, sarap ng corned beef, inangat pa ng real cheese cubes. Kaya perfect ang sarap. Star Chunky Cheese Corned Beef.
To Maldives now, the Ministry of Tourism has allowed resort employees to return to work. Joining us live from the island of Maldives is Steffi Dewan. Hello, Steph.
Hi, Alma.
Yes, your updates from Maldives.
Yes. So here's the latest updates from the island country of Maldives. Resort employees permitted to return to work. According to a news site, The Edition, Ministry of Tourism on Wednesday issued a statement opening the opportunity for resort workers to return to their places of employment following disruptions caused by the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. The statement noted that the Health Protection Agency had permitted such employees to travel directly to resorts provided that their islands of residence were not under monitoring or have been removed from monitoring status 14 days prior. According to the Tourism Ministry, workers residing in islands recently removed from monitoring could also travel back to resorts. However, these individuals will be required to remain under quarantine for 14 days following transport. Other workers are allowed to recommence duties immediately. The Tourism Ministry has declared that Maldives will be reopening its borders for visitors in July 2020, 4 months after the government temporarily stopped issuing on-arrival visas on March 27th amid the COVID-19 pandemic. Although authorities are yet to disclose further details on plans to restart tourism, President Ibrahim Mohamed Solih declared earlier this month that the main gateway of Maldives or Villana International Airport was set to welcome international flights in July, given a sustained improvement of the COVID-19 situation of the country. Amid the economic repercussions of the pandemic, several resorts workers lodged complaints concerning terminations, mandatory unpaid leaves, and salary reductions to the Job Center portal established by the Ministry of Economic Development. The Tourism Employees Association of Maldives, or TEAM, noted that the union had received reports of over 11,000 employees being forced to go on no-pay leaves. The Tourism Ministry previously assured that the resort management companies found to be acting in violation of the Employment Act No. 2/2008 would be penalized. Undersecretary at the President's Office Mabruk Abdul Aziz reiterated the statement, asserting that the Job Center portal would be utilized to hold companies accountable in an as yet undisclosed manner. It is estimated that Maldives' heavily tourism-reliant economy will face a shortfall of approximately $400 million or 6.9 billion MVR in foreign currency as a result of the pandemic. In order to offset resulting financial impacts, the government introduced financial stimulus packages amounting to 2.5 billion MVR intended to prevent the closure of local businesses and the loss of jobs. So that's the latest news from Maldives, Alma.
All right. Thank you very much, Steffi. EBC Maldives
Thank
Bureau.
you so much. Thank you so much. Once again, this is Steffi De Juan reporting live from Maldives, and we live in interesting times.
And joining us live from Kuala Lumpur is Ruby Tinawin to give us the latest coronavirus situation and developments there. Ruby?
Yes, good afternoon, Alma. For the latest news here in Malaysia, while awaiting the government's decision to extend or lift the conditional movement control order, which expires this Tuesday, Malaysians will look forward to an announcement on the short-term economic recovery plan in a special message by Prime Minister Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin today. The special message by the Prime Minister will be broadcast live at 3 p.m. by local television stations and social media networks. Muhyiddin returned to office yesterday after completing his 14-day quarantine period. This special message by Muhyiddin will be much awaited by the people, especially the economic industry players. Looking back, the implementation of the MCO and CMCO proved successful in combating the COVID-19 pandemic as seen with a drop in the daily number of cases, thus enabling the government to allow more economic sectors to reopen in the country. Now, on the COVID-19 situation in the country, Malaysia is seen to be approaching a free COVID-19 situation, although the number of daily cases surged to 277 yesterday from 93 cases the previous day. Health Director General Dr. Nur Hisham Abdullah, in his daily media conference on COVID-19, said of the 277 cases, 270 were found among foreign workers in immigration detention centers. Meanwhile, Senior Minister Datuk Sri Ismail Sabri Yaakob, in an interview for a documentary on MCO, with Bernama TV recently said Malaysia will witness major changes in the policy of employing foreign workers and to curb the entry of illegal immigrants during post-COVID-19. He also said that it was about time that the policy be reviewed as foreigners were among major contributors to the surge in COVID-19 cases, as well as in several other countries, including Singapore. While the post-COVID-19 economic recovery may be slow, the government policy would definitely put more emphasis on employing locals, he added. Meanwhile, Malaysia is still short of psychologists to provide counseling. There is still insufficient number of psychologists in the country, as the counselor to individual ratio is 1 to 52,000, when the normal ratio is 1 to 500. Health Director General Dr. Nur Hisham Abdullah said, currently there are only 148 counseling psychologists serving the health ministry. But the ministry are working with various agencies for the purpose of providing counseling services. He said mental health services have been enhanced through digital systems and technology, and virtual psychosocial support and counseling are being provided by the Ministry of Health using the latest applications. Dr. Hisham said the ministry has to date received more than 9,000 calls from individuals in need of support, and most of the issues were related to stress and anxiety, as well as social factors such as loss of employment, lack of income, and interpersonal or personal relationship problems. In addition, issues related to COVID-19 were also raised by individuals who expressed concern and fear of the pandemic. Back to you, Alma.
All right. Thank you very much, Ruby, for your update. Thank you, EBC Malaysia Bureau.
Yes, this is Riti Nawin from EBC Malaysia Bureau. We live in interesting times.
Okay, telemedicine service for COVID-19 patients, plus plans to resume international flights in Bangladesh. Joining us live is Arabel Pascua. Arabel.
Good afternoon, Alma.
Good afternoon.
Okay, here are the latest updates in Bangladesh. Doctors Association launched telemedicine service for COVID-19 patients. AMZ Hospital in Dhaka's Badda area is the hospital partner of this initiative. Bangladesh Society of Medicine has initiated a program to facilitate telemedicine services during the COVID-19 pandemic. The initiative is also backed by other three doctors' associations, Bangladesh Medical Association, Swadhinata Chikitsak Parishad, and Bangladesh College of Physicians and Surgeons. This project aims to provide treatment to COVID-19 patients over phone through call centers in a bid to ensure that people can access medical advice from their homes during the pandemic. Meanwhile, renowned pharmaceutical companies Servier, Beximco Pharmaceuticals Limited, and Aristo Pharma Limited will be working in the project in the capacity of scientific partners. During the virtual inauguration, the health minister remarked that by facilitating treatment over phone, the associations have set an example of fulfilling their duties towards the people and the country. The leaders of the associations have assured that through these 24-hour hotlines, those who were already hospitalized and currently in isolation, waiting in hospital admission, will be provided necessary medical advice by specialists. They said that people will be able to connect to specialists as well as receive general treatment. Additional news, Alma, the Civil Aviation and Tourism Ministry has planned to resume international flights after observing International Airways decisions. The ministry also finalized 100% waiver of aviation charges only for domestic airlines and 50% for international airlines till December to help airlines with the economic crisis caused by COVID-19 pandemic. The International Air Transport Association has urged Bangladesh to reconsider the decision to impose value-added tax on aeronautical services for airlines operating in the country. A directive from Bangladesh National Board of Revenue in November announced that services provided by CAAB would be subjected to 15% VAT. On Monday, domestic flights resumed operations on a limited scale after more than 2 months of suspension amid the coronavirus pandemic. The airlines are also demanding to lift all kinds of restrictions to operate flights both on domestic and international routes. And a quick update on COVID-19 cases here in Bangladesh, Alma, with 57,563 cases, 781 deaths, and 12,161 recoveries. Back to you, Alma.
All right. Thank you very much, Arabelle. Thank you for your updates there in Bangladesh. Stay safe, stay healthy.
Thank you, Alma. Okay, thank you, Alma. Reporting live from Bangladesh. I am Arabelle Pasqua. We live in interesting times.
Closer and closer to a safe new normal. Joining us live from New Zealand. Here's Bea Borja. Hello, Bea.
Hello, Alma. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for asking. How are you doing?
Getting cold.
Getting cold in New Zealand. So what are our updates there in New Zealand?
So today I have a bit more good news. New Zealand has achieved today another milestone in its fight against COVID-19. For 2 straight weeks, New Zealand has reported no new cases. Just 1 active case remains but does not need hospital-level care. As such, New Zealand is gearing up for a full, safe new normal in the coming weeks. As early as next week, depending on cabinet decision on Monday, all size and distancing restrictions may be lifted under level 1, closely approximating normality pre-COVID. According to Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern, our churches will be able to return to full service. Our sport and concert stadiums can be sold out, and we can celebrate and we can mourn with one another in groups of any size. Loosening up of restrictions, however, have to still be accompanied by behaviors COVID has heightened our consciousness in, such as good hand hygiene and proper sneeze and cough etiquette. These are small practical measures that would make the new normal safe. From a public health perspective, the Prime Minister and Health Director General Dr. Ashley Bloomfield emphasized that some measures would remain for an undetermined period of time. Most important among these are watertight border controls, widely available testing, case isolation, rapid contact tracing, and isolation of close contacts. These are practical best practices coupled with the government's audacious go hard, go early, and keep it out, stamp it out strategies are what got the country to where it is now in the fight against COVID-19. Alma?
All right. So how likely do you think, we pray not, but how likely do you think is a second wave can happen in New Zealand?
Yeah, it remains a risk, especially when restrictions around gathering size and physical distancing are lifted. It will take just 1 infected person being in a large crowd to lose all the advantage this country has gained in its fight against COVID-19. This is where the government's policy of surveillance testing plays an important part. That is why they also encourage anyone who has respiratory symptoms, even the slightest sore throat or sniffle, to contact their doctor and take a test. According to the Health Director General, this is also to make sure that there are no what he calls pockets of community infection in the community. Even the Prime Minister acknowledges that a second wave is an ongoing potential for any country that is easing restrictions. It's hard to pin down exactly the likelihood of a second wave because even experts feel there's still much they don't know about this virus, but it could become more likely if they are right about the virus seasonality, as it's almost winter now in New Zealand.
Very good. Okay, thank you very much, Bea and EBC New Zealand Bureau.
Much. Thanks so much, and also take care, Alma. This is Bea Borja reporting live from Wellington City, New Zealand. We live in interesting times.
Okay, take care, guys. Thank you for joining us here in ASEAN in Focus. I'm Alma Angeles, and we live in interesting times.